Today on NewsWatch, terror in Nice. At least 84 people are dead and authorities are looking for answers. Hear what they know so far. Plus, Netanyahu makes a historic visit, how Israel is making new friends among Africa's Christians. And the Pokemon craze just got wilder. We'll tell you why many players are showing up at church. Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Caitlin Burke. Europe has been hit again by terrorism, this time at a popular tourist city in the south of France. Dozens of people were killed Thursday night when a truck barreled through a crowd celebrating Bastille Day. Gary Lane has more.
Revelers in Nice, France had just finished watching fireworks celebrating La Fête Nationale, French National Day. Thousands walked along a popular seaside promenade, then panic as a white box truck began plowing into people, mowing down and shooting at them for a mile and a half. At least 84 people were killed, including 2 Americans, Sean Copeland and his 11-year-old son Brody, of Lakeway, Texas. Kelly Rappin of Florida witnessed the attack.
We didn't, at this point, have any idea what we were running from. We just booked it. I grabbed my fiance and we started running. We're not locals, so we really didn't know where we were going.
Police opened fire and finally stopped the lone terrorist. They found guns and grenades inside the truck. So far, no terrorist group has claimed credit for the attack. Police identified the attacker as a 31-year-old French national of Tunisian descent. He was known to police as a common criminal, but was not on terrorist watch lists. The French Interior Minister said his nation is in a war with terrorists, and President Hollande promised to reinforce French actions in Iraq and Syria. We will continue to hit precisely those who attack us on our own soil, in their own area, he said. President Obama condemned the attack and said America's thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims. He said, "We stand in solidarity and partnership with France, our oldest ally." French police are investigating to determine if the terrorists had accomplices or acted alone. French President Hollande has extended a state of emergency for another 3 months, and the Belgian Prime Minister is increasing security measures in his country in advance of national celebrations next week. Brussels was hit by Islamic terror at its airport and metro last March. The Nice attack was the second for France in 8 months. 130 people were killed in a series of attacks in Paris last November. France is now in 3 days of mourning. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Because of that deadly attack in Nice, Donald Trump has postponed naming a running mate. The presumptive Republican nominee made the decision in the wake of the attack in France, but it's a call that's raised questions about his selection process. Indiana Governor Mike Pence is rumored to be the favorite for the job, but this delay could change things. Pence is up against a noon deadline today to withdraw from the race for governor in his own state. Trump also faces an approaching deadline, the Republican convention kicking off in Cleveland on Monday. Dr. Eric Patterson is Dean of the School of Government at Regent University. He joins us now for more. Dr. Patterson, there's news that Governor Mike Pence is Donald Trump's choice for his running mate. What does Mike Pence bring to the table?
Good morning. Mike Pence brings a lot to the Trump ticket. He's someone who won 6 elections as a congressman. He's a social conservative. He says of himself, "I'm a conservative, then a Christian, then a Republican." He's a budget hawk, and he's a social conservative. He brings a lot to Trump.
There's a lot of conservatives that are very angry with Pence for what they consider to be his cave to the LGBT lobby on the Indiana Religious Freedom Bill. How significant is that liability?
I don't think it's significant in this case. He's been a proponent of traditional marriage. He tried to defund Planned Parenthood when he was in Congress. He's a reliable social conservative, and it tells us a lot about Trump. Trump chose not only him, but also released a list of Supreme Court nominations, potential ones, about a month ago. This tells us Trump is reaching out to that part of the party.
Are there any liabilities that do stand out about Pence?
I don't think that there's liabilities. He's a proven campaigner. He's a great communicator. Most people don't realize he was a talk show host on the radio back in the 90s. He's won 7 elections. I don't think that he has liabilities when it comes to winning Republican votes.
Trump has said that he wants an attack dog for his vice president. He's also said that he wants a chief operating officer for his VP, someone to really manage a lot of day-to-day details. Do you think Pence can fulfill those roles?
Yeah, I think that Pence won't be a chief of staff type, but what Trump has also said, including on our campus at a speech at Regent University, is that he wants someone who also is someone who knows how the House and the Senate work, and Pence will be great in that type of role.
How important is the vice presidential pick for Trump? Could it really bring him more voters?
Well, historically, vice presidents were chosen to bring in a wing of the party, usually geographically. But since Clinton Gore back in the early 90s, that really hasn't been the case. But what Pence is someone who used to support Ted Cruz and is someone who's a reliable social conservative. It shows that Trump is very serious about that part of the party and that part of the country.
And how important would the VP pick be for Hillary Clinton? What qualities do you think will be important in her choice?
Yeah, in the Hillary case, I think it's quite different. She's under pressure to choose a progressive, but I think that what she'll choose is someone that she sees as extending the Clinton legacy, both of her husband and of herself. So that's the part of the party, someone like Governor Tim Kaine from Virginia.
Dr. Patterson, thanks for being with us. The House investigation panel says it's uncovered the ugly truth about baby body part trafficking in the abortion industry. The panel started their investigation after allegations surfaced of the illegal sale of aborted fetal tissue among abortion providers. The panel spoke at a hearing Thursday and presented evidence that many abortion clinics may be selling baby body parts. One panel representative said at the hearing, this organization claims to be for women's health, but we're proving the sad reality that they're not for women's health. They're for profit, and I believe the women of America deserve to know this. The panel will end their investigation by the end of this year. A church in Iowa is asking a federal judge to stop Iowa's Civil Rights Commission from implementing its newest anti-discrimination law. Iowa's policy would force the church to abide by transgender bathroom rules and limit sermons about gay and transgender identity. Fort Des Moines Church of Christ says the law violates a church's right to free speech and free exercise of religion. Alliance Defending Freedom is representing the church, and they've filed a motion in federal court to block the policy. The commission says it's never enforced the law against churches. Turning now to an international story where a decision has finally been made on the longtime dispute between the Philippines and China over territorial claims in the South China Sea. The United Nations has awarded sovereign rights to the Philippines. China calls the decision null and void, creating more tension in the Asian Pacific. Lucille Talusan has more from Manila.
In recent years, aggressive moves and territorial claims by China have alienated her neighbors and raised tensions in the South China Sea. China staked claim to islands and rights with an area it calls the 9-dash line. It's an ambiguous line in the South China Sea that gives them an historic claim to all the resources that fall within its parameters. The area is rich in oil, natural gas, and fish. This week, the UN said the Philippines has exclusive sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea, more commonly known as the South China Sea. China's claim of an historic right to resources within the 9-dash line was ruled illegal and invalid. Although China has signed the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, it remains defiant and rejects the tribunal and its findings.
It has so many flaws in ascertaining evidences and facts that Chinese people do not accept it at all, and anyone across the world who upholds justice shall not agree with it.
Images like this one went viral on Chinese social media. A fictional Buddhist icon is shown with the meme, "How dare you to take the South China Sea away from me?" Philippines Foreign Ministry spokesperson Charles Jose says China should comply with the decision, but if it doesn't,
the Philippines will rely on the international community to help us to convince China that it is also to China's best interest. It will reduce the tension in the area, and it will help promote peace and stability in the region.
Defense analysts say that it can be very ambitious for the Philippines to try to eject China, but being awarded the disputed territory gives a legal passport to the Philippines to effectively assert their maritime entitlement, which includes Filipino fishermen to be able to go out and fish again in these traditional fishing grounds.
It should make the Philippines and the Filipinos proud because we are the first country to stand up for our rights in the South China Sea.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Manila.
Coming up, how Christians in Africa are becoming Israel's new best friend. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had a message for evangelical Christians in Nairobi, Kenya during his recent trip to Africa. As Chris Mitchell reports, Netanyahu said Israel has no better friends than Christians who love and support the Jewish nation. And he told them, "You're welcome in Israel."
The sound of shofars greeted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He invited the crowd to come to Israel, the land of the Bible.
Those of you who were, come again. Those of you who didn't come first time. You'll visit Jerusalem, visit Nazareth. You'll come to the Sea of Galilee.
He told them a story about a kibbutz that discovered a 2,000-year-old boat.
It's a fishing boat, and they carbon dated it. And it's right at the time of Jesus. So it stands there in Kibbutz Ginosar, and when you come there, you'll say, now, look, I can't tell you that Jesus was on that boat, but I can tell you that that boat was in the time of Jesus.
He described the common bond of Jews and Christians grounded in the land of the Bible.
These are real places. They speak to you and they speak to us. We came back to the land of Israel and realized the dreams of the prophets, of the ingathering of the exiles. I'm glad I have the opportunity, the privilege really, of coming to Africa to meet you. We have no better friends in the world, none. We appreciate this friendship, and we're expanding it into the continent of Africa.
Netanyahu's trip represents a new beginning in African-Israeli relations. 7
leaders from 7 African countries talking about how to expand Israel's relationship with their countries, but with all the countries of Africa. Israel is coming back to Africa. Africa is coming back to Israel. We want to see Africa be the success story that it can be, and we want to be part of it in everything, in water, in agriculture, in dairy production. And we are eager to share all of this with our African friends.
He also described the dismal situation for Christians in the Middle East.
And in the Middle East today, unfortunately, the attitude towards Christians and Christianity is not a good one. You see what is happening with Daesh in Iraq, what is happening to Christian communities and to the Yazidis and to others. There is one place in the Middle East where the Christian community is not only not shrinking, it's thriving and expanding, and it's safe, and it's welcome, and that place is Israel. You are welcome in Israel.
At the end of the meeting, the Christian leaders presented Netanyahu with a gift.
It's the Lion of Judah.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, the latest gaming sensation that's sending people to church. Pokemon Go is now the biggest mobile game in U.S. history. If you thought the Pokemon craze couldn't get any crazier, reports of injuries and criminal activities keep climbing. And as the game's popularity soars, some churches see it as a ministry opportunity. Producer Tracy Winborn has that story.
Pokemon Go is a global craze, and it's changing our lives with a simple app on our smartphones. But what I like about it is game makers have found a creative way to get people to go to church. Look at this church sign at the Brandon Assembly of God in Florida. We are a Pokestop. Get supplies outside, find Jesus inside. This church and many other landmarks are now Pokestops. So wait, what exactly is a Pokestop? To find out, I asked 13-year-old gaming expert and straight-A student Patrick Liu for a breakdown.
You go up to a Pokestop and there will be a little circle that you can spin, and it drops random items like raspberries, which increase your chance of catching Pokemon successfully.
Now you don't have to go inside to use the Pokestops to get supplies. Just get on or near the property. Imagine you're going on a virtual scavenger hunt of sorts. The game uses the GPS and clock on your smartphone to locate different Pokemon in your area. The goal? To catch as many Pokemon as you can and become the best Pokemon trainer around. Once I downloaded the app, I spotted my very first Pokemon right here in the church parking lot, just outside the nation's capital.
So
swipe it?
Yeah.
Like that?
Oh, you missed.
I missed?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So what you should do, you should hold down, and once that green circle gets smaller, that's the right time to throw it, so like that.
Okay, so apparently it's not as easy as it looks. Patrick tells me there's also Pokemon gyms. That's where you go to battle other players. Just find it on the app. Look, here's one at this park sign next to the church. It's also next to a cemetery? Pokemon Go is so popular, it's expected to overtake Twitter's 65 million American users.
I've only planned on playing it like once in a while, but it got really addicting, so I check it like every 10 minutes now.
The game's popularity has turned into a ministry opportunity. According to one survey, 82% of churches have reported an increase in attendance. So, are people really going to church just to catch Pokemon? Terrible Horrible says, "This game is trying to make me go to church." And Chris Martin tweets, "How do you get 6 20-something guys to sit on the steps of your church? Your church is a gym." Not everyone is laughing, though, that game makers chose them as Pokestops against their will, like the United States Holocaust Museum. The communications director told the Washington Post playing the game is not appropriate in the museum, which is a memorial to the victims of Nazism. We are trying to find out if we can get the museum excluded from the game. Then there are the safety concerns. Don't Pokemon and drive. Multiple sightings reported of people searching for Pokemon and not paying attention to where they're going. Regardless of these safety concerns, some parents say at least their children are outside and exercising. Now, I called churches in my area that are Pokestops, but they had no idea they were even in the game until I told them. They also declined to comment. Looks like these churches have a lot to think about. Back to you.
Thanks, Tracy. So I guess the moral of the story is if you're gonna Pokemon Go safely. We'll be right back. The weekend is here, and you may be thinking about heading to the movies. So let's turn now to focus on the family's entertainment department for a plugged-in review of the new film, Ghostbusters. Take a look.
We have dedicated our whole lives to studying the paranormal. Now there's sightings all over the city.
In the new 2016 version of Ghostbusters, Aaron and Abby are old science-focused college friends who have followed separate academic paths.
There are people out there that need our help.
They're drawn back together, however, by a mutual intrigue for all things paranormal, and the fact that a number of ghostly happenings have popped up around the Big Apple. The two scientists are joined by a slightly crazed physicist/inventor and a transit worker who knows the city's highs and lows.
We see what no one else is willing to see.
And before you can say, "It slimed me," the all-female Ghostbusters are out punching creepy things in the ectoplasm.
What do we think of these Ghostbusters?
The problem is, the local authorities aren't so happy about this team's destructive and publicly scary activities. But the ghostly things aren't going to be so easily swept under a political rug. And when the coming apparitional apocalypse takes place, well, who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
If there's a paranormal problem, we're the ones to answer the call.
Hello. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
This updated comedy remake has its cute moments. There are warm exclamations of friendship shared among outcasts here, and a number of self-sacrificial choices in the mix. And frankly, this pick isn't as rough-edged or raunchy as the 1984 original. But there's still foul language, crash boom violence, and tons of dark, demon-like creepiness to be aware of. It's definitely not as kid-friendly as some might have you believe. So I'm giving Ghostbusters 2.5 spooky spirit possessions out of 5 for family friendliness. For a full detailed review, visit us at pluggedin.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Cheryl Wilhelmi for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
That's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com. And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. You can do that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.